1 Kings chapter 20 now, and this one was really long, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time with it because I didn't find it very helpful. Basically, Syria attacks and the Lord beats them. It shows Ahab, I don't know what to say about it. He's listening to the prophet, but he's also not there. And Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts together, and there were 32 kings with him, and the horses and chariots, and he went up and besieged Samaria and warred against it. And he sent messengers to Ahab the king of Israel into the city, and said unto him, Thus saith Ben-Hadad, Thy silver and thy gold is mine, thy wives also, and thy children, even the goodliest, are mine. He's saying, I'm going to take those, okay? And the king of Israel answered and said, O my lord, O king, according to thy saying, I am thine, and all I have. So he's going to pay tribute to the king of Syria, Ben-Hadad. Remember, in the last chapter, Elijah had anointed someone else, and it wasn't Ben-Hadad. So I'm not sure where that comes in yet, but this is who is the king that's fighting for Syria right now. And the messengers came again and said, Thus speaketh Ben-Hadad, saying, Although I have sent unto thee, saying, Thou shalt deliver me thy silver and thy gold and thy wives and thy children, yet I will send my servants unto thee tomorrow about this time, and they shall search thine house and the houses of thy servants, and it shall be that whatsoever is pleasant in their eyes, instead of thine eyes, they shall put into their hand and take it away. Basically saying, we'll just plunder you. It doesn't matter. We're going to take whatever we want. And then the king of Israel called the elders of the land and said, Mark, I pray you, see how this man seeketh mischief, for he sent unto me for my wives and my children, and for my silver and for my gold, and I denied him not. And the elders of all the people said unto him, Hearken not unto him, nor consent. They're saying, this guy's invading us, and you're just going to lay down and let him do that? Wherefore he said unto the messengers of Ben-Hadad, Tell my lord the king all thou didst send for thy servant at the first, I will do. But this thing I may not do. The messengers departed and brought him word again. And Ben-Hadad sent unto him and said, The gods do so unto me, and more so. Also, that's what was said by Jezebel. The gods do more unto me, and more so. If the dust of Samaria shall suffice the handfuls of all the people that follow me. He's basically saying, why would I just stop here at Samaria when I can have all of the land and my people can live where you guys are? I'm not going to crowd them into this place. I'm going to give them everything. And the king of Israel answered and said, Tell him, let him not gird on his harness, which means armor, boast himself as he putteth it off. And it came to pass that Ben-Hadad heard this message, and as he was drinking, and the kings in the pavilion. And he said unto his servants, Set yourselves in array. And they set themselves in array against the city. They're basically preparing for war. And behold, there came a prophet unto the Ahab, the king of Israel, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Hast thou seen all this multitude? Behold, I will deliver it into thine hand this day, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Notice again, the Lord, he should know anyway from what Elijah did. But in this case, he's saying, he's doing what he did with ancient Israel. He's going to fight their battles for him, and he's in a situation where there is very little else he can do without the Lord intervening, and he should know who is there for him. And Ahab said, "By whom?" And he said, "Thus saith the Lord, even by the young men and the princes of the provinces." Then he said, "Who shall order the battle?" And he answered, "Thou." So it's the young people who are young men who are going to win this war, and you're the one that's going to lead them or order them. Then he numbered the young men of the princes, and there were 232. After them he numbered the people, even the children of Israel, being 7,000, so not a lot. And they went out at noon, but Ben-Hadad was drinking himself drunk in the pavilions, in his tents. And he and the kings, the 32 kings that helped him, so they're not in a good place to be going to war. And the young men of the princes and provinces went out first, and Ben-Hadad sent out, and they told him, saying, "There are men come out of Samaria." And he said, "Whether they come out for peace, take them alive, and whether they come for war, take them alive." In other words, let's find out what they want. So the young men of the princes of the province came out of the city, and the army which followed them. And they slew every one of his men, and the Syrians fled, and Israel pursued them. And Ben-Hadad the king of Syria escaped on a horse with the horsemen. And the king of Israel went out and smote the horses and chariots, and slew the Syrians with a great slaughter. And the prophet came to the king of Israel and said unto him, "Go, strengthen thyself, and mark, and see what thou doest." And I'm just going to put here what thou should do instead of what thou doest alone. And up in the right-hand corner again is talks about what we're going to talk about. The Syrians seem to think that God was just the God of the hills, because a lot of the battles were won by Israel was in the hills. They're going to be totally mistaken. God's going to show them that he's God of all the earth. And the servants of the king of Syria said unto him, "Their gods are gods of the hills. Therefore, they were stronger than we, but let us fight against them in the plain, and surely we will be stronger than they." So they think they can do it just by changing where they're at. And do this thing, take the kings away, every man out of his place, and put captains in their rooms. What is he saying here? I think what he's saying is, these privileged people, the ones that were getting drunk in their tents, they're not the ones we need to lead. We need to put captains, people who are hardened veterans, who know how to fight. Put them in charge of the army. This has gone from an easy conquest to something that is serious, and we need to put our best foot forward. And number thee an army like an army that thou hast lost. So we want at least as many people, horse for horse, chariot for chariot. We will fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they. And they hearkened unto their voice, and did so. And it came to pass, and I think people do it today, they try to limit God and what he can do, and think, oh, well, he's a God of goodness, but he's not, this God or that God. They don't realize that he can be in every part of our lives, and that he knows us personally, And that's where they were wrong. They limited him like the gods that they're used to. And we limit him in thinking that there's something outside his purview, that he somehow can't see us in those moments. And it came to pass at the return of the year that Ben-Hadad numbered the Syrians and went up to Aphek to fight against Israel. And the children of Israel were numbered and were all present and supplied. So they were supplied because Ahaz was told to supply them, and went against them, and the children of Israel pitched before them like two little flocks of kids, but the Syrians filled the country. So they were a small amount next to the whole army of the Syrians. And there came a man of God, and spake to the king of Israel, and said, Thus saith the Lord, because the Syrians have said, The Lord is a God of the hills, but he is not a God of the valleys. Therefore I will deliver this great multitude into thine hand, and I shall show that ye shall know that I am the Lord. So he again is doing it because he wants Ahaz and the children of Israel to know who is leading them. And they pitched one over against another the other 7 days. And so it was that on the 7th day the battle was joined, and the children of Israel slew the Syrians 100,000 footmen in one day. But the rest of the rest fled to Aphek into the city, and there a wall fell upon 27,000 men that were left. Wow, that was a big wall. And Ben-Hadad fled and came to the city into the inner chamber. And his servant said unto him, Behold, now we have heard that the kings of the house of Israel are merciful kings. Let us pray, I pray thee, put sackcloth on our loins and ropes upon our heads, and go out to the king of Israel. Peradventure he will save thy life. In other words, they may slay everybody else, but they will probably save the king, any of the kings that they get. So they girded the sackcloth on their loins and put ropes on their heads, and came to the king of Israel and said, Thy servant Ben-Hadad saith, I pray thee, let me live. And he said, Is he yet alive? He is my brother. He's basically saying, if you bring him here, I won't slay him. I'll treat him well. And now the men did diligently observe whether anything would come from him, and did hastily catch it. And they said, Thy brother Ben-Hadad. Then he said, Go ye, bring him. And Ben-Hadad came forth to him, and he caused him to come up into a chariot. And Ben-Hadad said unto him, The cities which my father took from thy father I will restore, and thou shalt make streets, places, like marketplaces, for thee in Damascus, as my father made in Samaria. Then said Ahab, I will send thee away with this covenant. So that he made a covenant with him and sent him away. Basically, he's saying, let's have a treaty and we'll trade back and forth. And a certain man of the sons of the prophets said unto his neighbor, this is an interesting, really weird thing. Smite me, I pray thee. And the man refused to smite him. And he said unto him, Because thou hast not obeyed the voice of the Lord, behold, as soon as thou art departed from me, a lion shall slay thee. And as soon as he was departed from him, a lion found him and slew him. I don't understand this story, but it's in here and I'm just reading it. He found another man and said, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man smote him, and smiting wounded him. So the prophet departed and waited for the king by the way, and disguised himself with ashes upon his face. He basically veiled his face. As the king passed by, he cried unto the king and said, Thy servant went out into the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside and brought a man unto me, and said, Keep this man. If by any means he be missing, then shall thy life be for his life, or else thou shalt pay a talent of silver. As thy servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said unto him, So shalt thy judgment be, thyself hast decided it. And he hasted and took the ashes away from his face, and the king of Israel discerned him that he was of the prophets. And he said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, because thou hast let out of thy hand a man whom I have appointed to utter destruction, therefore thy life shall go for his life, and thy people for his people. And the king of Israel went to his house, heavy and displeased, and came to Samaria. So just to sum up this weird story, I think this man of God wanted to be hit so it looked like he's hurt, put some ashes on his face so he looks a bit dirty, and when the king goes by, he's probably going, oh, you're hurt, and he'll stop to see if there's anything to be done. That's what I'm guessing. And then he tells him the story and then says, you haven't done what we've asked you to do, kind of like King Saul did, where you're supposed to destroy all of this people. You didn't destroy all of this people. You let them go. That sort of thing. That's where they're at. And so we'll talk more about this tomorrow.